Welcome to Movie World Plus, a place where we talk movies. I'm Andy Signor, and I'm here to review Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Before I do, I want to give a quick shout out. Look at these cool props I just got in the mail. They're not paying me to do this. Granted, they sent me these, but this airplane pillow is incredible. I also got this amazing 3D display of the Friday the 13th Part 3 3D. It's like a whole 3D. The knife comes at you. And I got these amazing new Nooks. These are like bookcase ends with Nightmare and Gremlins. There's these 3D end of book, bookcase stoppers. What are they called? You know what I'm talking about. My gosh, this stuff was so cool. And I want to thank the Nacelle company for sending me this because I follow them because they do some amazing stuff. And if you like movies, you should follow them too. Brian Volkweis does that amazing show that he did the Movies That Made Us show on Netflix, which I was a big fan of. And now they're in Walmart. So you can go to Walmart, you can pick it up. Nacelle teamed up with Culture Fly for the Movies That Made Us in-store section at Walmart's with a lot of really cool special items, including a Ghostbusters bundle pack and more. So if you are in your local Walmart and you want to show them some support, they got some really cool stuff out there. And yeah, I'm just super impressed with their quality, with their level of nerdum. And apparently every piece that you gets a special movie ticket. I see right here, I get a free rent a movie through Fandango. Awesome stuff. I love this airplane throw pillow. And yeah, you can follow Toys Nacelle over there to get your update on what they're working on, their cool items and stuff. I just wanted to plug them because I like them and I appreciate that they said, I was just commenting and they're like, hey dude, we'll send you some stuff. That's how you do marketing. So bravo, check them out and support them. I'll put the link in the description down below. All right, but let's get back to the review. I want to promote other fun movie stuff here just for fun because that's what this channel is about. And I went into this movie wanting so much fun. And let me say, I did have some fun before I go on my rant, sadly, because I do have a rant to go on. Before I go on the rant, I do want to say, this is better than a lot of movies, but I went in with such higher expectations only because I really enjoyed Ghostbusters Afterlife. I thought it was its own thing. It felt more grounded. And I liked the new characters. It had the tone of the original, but it's found its own way, but then it found a respectful way to connect the legacy characters. And yes, that big finale totally did work on me. It didn't work on everybody, but when Egon comes back, it hit me. It was just a great unifying bunch of characters. And yeah, I liked it. I was excited. Kudos to Jason Reitman for bringing it back in that fun way. But I was intrigued and curious to see, well, where would this go? And Frozen Empire raises the stakes in a way that honestly, I just didn't enjoy as much as I thought I would. It relies way too much on nostalgia, guys. It's like, did we really need Slimer back and everything? I mean, they're so reliant on these old characters and justifying everybody coming back to give you the cute moments. And I understand why. At the same time, I wish they would have had the guts to sort of create their own new ones. And they do. There's some new ghosts that they do try to focus on. But guys, this movie has so many characters. So many characters. It begins to be tough to really follow where it's all going to go. And the film does, focus on our new foursome here, the family, the Spanglers, along with Gary Gruberson, Paul Rudd, who I loved in this movie. I love in every movie. No problems, no notes for Paul Rudd. He gets to sort of have a more serious relationship with Phoebe, his now seeming stepdaughter, and clearly, really wanting to support her. And that's a very cute side story that's happening throughout the film. And I like this family. I liked it from the first movie. But, my big but. They've now taken over the firehouse. We saw at the end of the last movie that Ernie Hudson, Zedmore came in and sort of bought it and sort of was helping them. But this film now puts this family in charge of the firehouse, the Ghostbuster station, and now in charge of sort of busting all the ghosts. And given all the previous activities that the Ghostbusters have been through, I don't know, you'd think by now they would have rallied some sort of funding that would have upped their game. And instead it was hard for me to suspend the disbelief of this family of four trying to go bust all the ghosts. It just didn't work for me the same. I wish they had been involved but almost like had brought on some new people to help them. I don't know. It was just a weird direction. I couldn't get over the fact that there's just no attempt to modernize the Ghostbusters. And given the timeline of where things are at with this film, it just would have made more sense. Yes, they try. There's now a new drone, a trapper that sends out. And it's like, yeah, we would expect more of these, but it constantly just still tries to fall back to the, oh, shucks, we got to kick the gear in motion and try to make it work. And I'm just like, how many damn times do the Ghostbusters need to save New York from ghosts while ghosts are flying around until they finally are like, all right, fine, but can we actually get some real people to help you do this? It's starting to suspend my disbelief. And it kind of makes sense because Kumail Nanjiani says, if you're a fan of the real Ghostbusters, the animated series in that show, that was a point of reference to this movie. The filmmakers wanted to make a long episode of the animated series. So if you love that show, as I do, be excited. And I did enjoy that show as a kid, but that's exactly my problem here. They're trying to throw you into this big ghost adventure with high stakes, end of the world stakes. There's literally a sky beam at a certain part. And it just ultimately didn't work for me. I wasn't worried at any point by this big bad guy. Sorry, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but there's no real shocking revelations. The new characters are Patton Oswalt. I don't dislike Patton Oswalt, but he's literally doing Dan Aykroyd's job to Dan Aykroyd in this film, which was just like, well, why? And Kumail Nanjiani, he's fun. He's just no Rick Moranis, and he's sort of that person in this film. A lot of it is still just relying on that nostalgia. And yep, you've seen it in the trailers. They didn't hide it. Here it is again. And in the last film, when the team finally gets back together, I was like, yes, this is cool. In this film, they just feel like they're phoning it in, honestly. Murray's hardly in it. And when they all do show up, Dan Aykroyd especially just feels like he's just cashing the check. None of them feel invested in this movie. Bill Murray clearly needs this movie. He's been having his own issues and people trying to cancel him, etc. And there's a few moments where you're like, oh, there he is. But overall, the whole thing this time just started to wear a little bit. It's too much going on. The stakes are too high. The frozen world of New York. It's just, come on, what is this? There are still moments I liked, but overall, I would just argue that this movie definitely became more Ghostbusters 2 than Ghostbusters 1. And there's a lot of people who like Ghostbusters 2. It's still fun. As a kid, I enjoyed that. And as a kid, I enjoyed the cartoon too. That's the warning I give you all. This is definitely trying to be more of the kid adventure while still trying to play like hip, cool Ghostbusters. And I wasn't as invested as I hoped I'd be. I don't know where this thing goes. Honestly, I don't know. But I'm sitting there and I'm just like, they haven't upgraded the car by now? We're still riding that nostalgia van, like hearse. Like, I love that car, of course, but you do have to take chances with a franchise sometimes to make it your own, to modernize, to change it, to give it a new path, to create a competing Ghostbusters. I don't know. There just feels like there could have been so many things they could have done to build out this world and make it different while also still have its foot in the edge and still respect the iconic, legacy characters. But for me, watching a family of four try to go and get all the ghosts in New York City and then suddenly get in trouble again and shows up William Atherton's going to stop the Ghostbusters again, it just starts to feel a little repetitive, which frustrated me given that Afterlife did feel like a little bit more of its own thing. We're out in a new place. We're learning this family. They're a different vibe. There's a lot of emotions in the family and what happened and redemption and things that were going on in that movie that don't hit as hard in this one for me, sadly. There's also a whole subplot with a ghost friend where the character of Phoebe Spengler, Mckenna Grace, I really like her character a lot. I even like her in this one, I do. But the whole ghost friend subplot, which is a very big part of the movie, is just weird. I didn't love it. And poor Finn Wolfhard, who I also love as Trevor, just really has nothing to do because, again, so many characters. He's left with a B story with Slimer. And then you still got Podcast and the girl, I forget her name. I don't even remember. All the people from the first movie come back. was it Lucky? A lot of them all come back, and then you still are throwing some new ones, and then you got the legacy characters. Like I said, it's a lot of characters, and it's hard for any of them to really get their time in the sun because we have to please all the people. We got to please the OG fans. Here they are. We're pleasing the last fans. Here they are. Here's the young demographic. Oh, and here's some new comedian. And it's all too much where nothing really rises to the length that the height that I think this movie could have hit. Because I do believe Ghostbusters is a good franchise. I love Paul Rudd. I love all, honestly, it's a great cast. They're trying their damnedest at times. But the old cast does feel like you're phoning it in. It's over-reliant on nostalgia at this point where now I'm starting to see it. And it doesn't feel like it has its own story really to tell yet. I want it to find its own way. If we're going to create this whole new Ghostbusters franchise, which it seems like they're trying to do, and make multiple new Ghostbusters films, they really got to start focusing on what this new world is. Can we finally accept that the Ghostbusters exist and that ghosts exists and they need to stop ghosts? What does that actually entail now? The world's accepting of it. Okay, you'd think there'd be some Elon Musk guy who's like trying to then own it or do it. And the reality is in this world, there's still nothing else happening to create a new sort of bigger world than just the same old, same old. And that to me was just disappointing. Again, because it was relying so much on what we expected that it never had the guts to stand on its own. And ultimately, that's why this is a very slight positive. I will give it more positive than not because this cast is so likable and there are some fun sequences. I can't say I was like, oh, this movie sucks. I put this movie and this franchise at a higher caliber of expectation, whether that's unfair of me or not. I do. Whereas, like, is this movie better than Madam Web? Of course. There's a lot of bad movies out there that I would say this movie is better than, but it's not better than Afterlife, and it's definitely closer to Ghostbusters 2 level for really keeping it honest. And if you want a fun sort of just, it does feel long at times, ghost adventure, they'll deliver that to you, but I just feel like they could have done a little bit better. We had enough time in between. More could have been done. These characters are likable, but you can't throw so many into the mix. And when you do, this is what happens. Nobody really gets to shine. So sadly, Frozen Empire chilled me off a little, cooled me down. I don't know. I couldn't think of the ice pun in time, but I still support seeing this in theaters. It is a good IMAX experience. There are some fun moments, not really any jump scares at all, sadly. But take that as well. Lower the expectations going in. The audience I went with, they were reacting positively. So I think a lot of people will still enjoy it. And I'd like to see this continue, but I hope in the next installment, someone comes in and takes the reins and tries to take it somewhere new while still respecting and honoring where we've come from. There are ways to do that. And when you can figure that out, well, then you're cooking with gas and everything works great. Don't just throw everything out there because you have to. Where's Slimer? Here he is. Make a new Slimer. We need new things. My goodness, the Memba berries. They're getting out of hand. What do you think? Do I seem too cynical? What do you thought? Hit that button, hit that bell for alerts, smash that like button, and leave your comments down below. I love what did you think? Do you believe that the city of New York would just set on ice and that the city wouldn't then attempt to assist somebody? At what point will the city allow the Ghostbusters to have proper resources to stop the ghosts? We are at the point now, Sony, where you can't keep playing them as the underdogs. We have established the Ghostbusters need to bust ghosts. That's my 2 cents. That's why it's frustrating. I didn't mean to hit that button. I meant to hit this button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for more movie news, reviews, and commentary here on Movie World Plus.